We like to think the food chain is a strict hierarchy. Predators hunt, prey runs. End of story. That hierarchy has some very embarrassing exceptions. Today, we're ranking 5 animals that are on paper prey, and every one of them has at some point sent a predator home with a completely different opinion about who was actually in danger. We're ranking them by predator confidence, how sure the attacker was going in versus how sure it was coming out. It starts high, it ends at 0.
Number 1.
The giant anteater. Predator confidence going in? High. It's an insect-eating mammal with no teeth. What's the worst that could happen? The giant anteater lives across the grasslands and forests of South America, and it spends its life doing something almost comically unthreatening, walking around sniffing out ant and termite nests, sometimes over 200 of them in a single day, vacuuming up roughly 35,000 insects with a tongue built more like a party favor than a weapon. No teeth, no speed to speak of beyond a 30-mile-per-hour gallop it can only hold for a second. This is not an animal built like a fighter. But here's the thing. The part of the anteater that isn't built for eating is built for exactly one job: ending an argument. Those knife-shaped foreclaws, the same ones it uses to rip open termite mounds, double as some of the more efficient blades in the animal kingdom. When an anteater can't outrun a threat, it doesn't try. It rears up on its hind legs and starts swinging. Jaguars and cougars are the anteater's main predators, and this is where the numbers get uncomfortable for the jaguar. A wild jaguar can weigh over 3 times what an anteater does. On paper, this shouldn't be close. In practice, most jaguars that have actually tangled with an anteater seem to know something the size chart doesn't capture. There's a documented 2017 camera trap sighting of a jaguar and an anteater simply sizing each other up, neither one committing, and accounts from researchers of the two animals occasionally being found dead together suggests that when this fight does go all the way, nobody walks away clean. Predator confidence revised? This is not a free meal, and the jaguar usually knows it before things get physical. I'll be honest, when I first read that a giant anteater had killed a human, I assumed it was a fluke, a one-off. It isn't. Between 2010 and 2012, 2 hunters died in encounters with wild giant anteaters in Brazil, both understood to be self-defense on the anteater's part. In 2007, a young zookeeper in Argentina was killed the same way. This is an animal that will let you walk past it 100 times. It just doesn't advertise what happens on the 101st.
Next on the list of animals that missed the prey memo, the largest member of the deer family and one of the least aggressive-looking animals on this list, right up until it isn't. Number 2. Alaskan moose, the largest subspecies, can weigh up to 820 kilograms and stand over 2.3 meters at the shoulder. For scale, that's taller at the shoulder than most door frames are tall overall. They get there almost entirely on plants, and they're strong enough swimmers to cross open water chasing better feeding grounds or fleeing a threat. Bears, wolves, and big cats share range with moose across both North America and Eurasia, and moose are far from defenseless against any of them. The antlers get all the attention, but those are for settling disputes between moose over mates and territory. The actual weapon is the kick, and it's backed by an animal that lives in one of the more competitive predator ecosystems on the planet, which tends to make its residents proportionally more willing to use force. But here's the thing. Moose injure more people every year than bears and wolves combined. Most of those encounters end in bruises, not fatalities, and a moose that doesn't feel threatened will simply leave. The exception is a female protecting a calf, which is the same trigger that makes most of her actual predators dangerous too. There's at least one documented case of a moose killing 2 adult wolves in a single encounter. Rare, but not a myth. And wildlife agencies consistently note that translocated or captive-raised wolves, animals without the inherited caution wild-born wolves develop, are disproportionately the ones that get killed attempting it. Predator confidence. A fully grown moose is a legitimate threat assessment for even the largest bear, which is exactly why only the largest bears attempt it. Moving up the confidence ladder, an animal whose danger rating depends entirely on what time you show up. Number 3. The Chacma baboon, native to southern Africa, is the largest baboon species alive, with males reaching around 45 kilograms against females closer to 25, one of the more extreme size gaps between sexes in the primate world. They live in troops with a clear dominance hierarchy, and it's the adult male's job to defend the group against a genuinely long predator list, topped by the African leopard. Leopards are famous for adaptability, documented preying on more than 90 different species range-wide, everything from insects to, on rare occasion, gorillas. And in some regions, baboons make up close to a fifth of a leopard's diet by weight. But here's the thing, that predation almost entirely happens at night, in silence, on sleeping or isolated baboons. During the day, hunting a Chacma baboon is one of the worst ideas available to a leopard. Baboon troops are constantly vigilant, quick to provoke, and operate on a mutual defense principle. One baboon under attack usually means several baboons about to arrive. Their canines are built for a mostly plant-based diet, but are more than capable of doing real damage to a leopard's hide. And while most of these confrontations end with the leopard retreating, there are documented cases of troops killing a leopard outright. Predator confidence daylight is not on the leopard's side, and the smart ones already know it.
Same rule, different animal. This time, the predator isn't a land animal at all, and neither is the volunteer standing up to it.
Number 4.
Humpback whales are filter feeders, living on fish, plankton, and krill, which lets them reach sizes up to 17 meters and 40 metric tons. That size alone rules out almost every predator on the planet. Almost. Orcas, the ocean's actual apex predator, capable of preying on animals as large as blue whales, will target humpbacks, though almost always younger, smaller individuals rather than full-grown adults. But here's the thing. Adult humpbacks don't just tolerate orca presence. Some of them actively go looking for a fight that isn't theirs. There's a well-documented 2012 case of a group of humpback whales intervening in an orca attack on gray whales, using their tails and pectoral fins, among the largest fins relative to body size of any whale, as weapons, and similar interventions have been reported in the years since. A strike from either can be lethal to an orca. Marine biologists still don't agree on why this happens. It might be a grudge at an animal that preys on humpback calves, it might be something closer to cross-species protectiveness, or, and this is probably the honest answer, it might be both, because whale cognition is a lot less instinct machine and a lot more actual social reasoning than most people give it credit for. Predator confidence, the only animal on Earth that will voluntarily pick a fight with an orca on someone else's behalf, is somehow the one everyone assumed was just a gentle filter feeder. And the animal that tops this list didn't earn nicknames like Black Death and Widowmaker by being anyone's easy meal.
Number 5.
The African buffalo, one of Africa's big 5, comes in 5 subspecies across the continent, and every one of them is considered genuinely dangerous, not just to predators, but to people. In some regions, large herbivores like the buffalo are documented attacking more humans annually than the region's actual predators do. Lions are the buffalo's main natural predator, and even they need a crowd. A solitary lion attempting a fully grown buffalo is playing a bad hand. Most successful hunts require the whole pride working together, and by most tracked estimates, only about 1 in 7 lion attacks on buffalo actually succeeds. But here's the thing. A failed attack doesn't just mean the lion goes hungry. Buffalo herds practice mobbing behavior, and an angry buffalo doesn't treat the predator gave up as the end of the encounter.
There are recurring, documented cases of buffalo herds chasing lions up trees, and those curved horns aren't just for show. They're shaped specifically to hook into flesh, and a lion caught on one can suffer fatal injuries on the spot. Predator confidence? Zero, and it was probably never realistic to begin with. Here's a common misconception worth killing before we close out. Prey animal does not mean weak or harmless. It just means something occupies a lower rung on a specific predator's menu. Every animal on this list is textbook prey by ecological classification, and every one of them is also fully capable of ending the animal hunting it. The food chain isn't a ladder with fixed rungs. It's closer to a set of very situational odds that shift depending on time of day, group size, and how badly the predator needs the calories. That's 5 animals that never got the Know Your Place memo, ranked from a surprise upset to a matchup most predators already know to avoid. If you think there's a prey animal that deserves to be on a future version of this list, put it in the comments. I read all of them, and more than one of these entries started as a suggestion.